Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
Today, we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a video about growing older, a book about rich kids, and we have a totally awesome guest. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Brad Gosse. Brad is a stand-up comedian, and he is famous for his TikTok videos and children's books.
What's up?
Not much. How about you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Well, today we're going to start off with the video game of the week, and this is going to be a lifetime.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Age Simulator. This game is made by Poncho Kings. Because it's on Roblox, you are able to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free. You may remember Poncho Kings from their other games, Platform Madness and the Airplane Story. So first off, you appear in a village and you are surrounded by people. It says your name above your head and that you are age 1. There are instructions for you. You can punch, kick, rest, sit, and run and walk. So this must be a fighting game. Cool! Then people start talking about their family name. Oh, okay. So you join a family and they fight other people from other families or people that don't have a family enlisted. Okay, so a family is kind of like a clan. I find a fighting area where there are a bunch of people hitting targets. They were all in the same family.
I hate families.
Well, they invited me and I joined their family and started hitting the targets. After a minute, I was told that I was now 2 years old. Okay, but I'm not really doing anything. I tried to punch someone, but everyone was already in the same family, so I couldn't hit them. I walked around the map and it was big and there were a lot of people just talking and sitting around. Uh-oh. I know what this game is. This is a role-playing game. So that is a game where people walk around and talk and acting out a story, but not really doing anything. I am not a fan of these types of games.
Me neither, Tiberius. Plus, I've been playing Age Simulator for 48 years.
Dang.
Don't recommend it.
Same here. I give Age Simulator 3 out of 10 stars because I really wanted a fighting game and it looked like one. And when I clicked on it, it wasn't really what it was supposed to be. And they did really have a large world with lots to look at, but there's no points or money or anything to do but talk with people and watch as they get older every 2 to 3 minutes. You don't do anything to get older except just still be in the game. Kids like that, like role playing, might like this game.
They should make a fighting game where we fight old people.
See Tiberius Smith Law.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
The website again is cwsmithlaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
And now it's time for the book of the week, Rich Kids, They're Better Than You. This was written by Brad Gosse. Wait, that's you! Brad writes funny short stories. Let me read to the back of the book. In fact, Brad, would you like to do the honors?
Yeah, I got this. Brad Gosse is a sit-down comedian based in his basement. That's right here. He's writing in the third person because bios look cooler when they're written that way. It seems ridiculous, but he keeps writing. He uses dark humor to cope. He has more issues than a newspaper.
Okay. Well, this is not an AR book, so you won't get any points for reading it. But this was so funny, it is well worth the time. So the book starts off telling you that money has something that your parents will spend a lot of time working to get. Time they won't be spending with you. So then it lists different ways rich kids have it better. Then it highlights different kids and what they have because of money. Like Bradford with his own rooftop pool. And Selma has her own beach. As each page turns, you'll read about another kid and how they have cool stuff because their parent had money. One kid has a butler, and another one would get into Eddie College without ever trying. My dad said that was funny because it was so true.
The best jokes come from truth.
One girl gets to buy a new purse every month, and the other girl gets her own water skis. I'm sure those are fun. My favorite part was Elon getting massages. I wonder if that was Elon Musk.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Well, I give rich kids They're Better Than You 10 out of 10 stars because it was funny to think of all the ways that rich kids might waste money, and it was a funny picture at the end of the poor dad washing the rich kid's floor. I saw the video of you reading it, and it was so funny because it seems so wrong.
It is wrong.
Mm-hmm. And now it's time for our interview of an interesting person. Today's guest is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Brad Gosse. Brad is a stand-up comedian famous for his TikTok and YouTube videos where he reads his children's books.
What's up?
So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
So far, it's been a lot of fun.
So you are a comedian YouTube star. How did you get started in this amazing job?
I kind of fell into it. I always wanted to be a comedian since I was a kid, but I chose a different career path. And then about 3 years ago, my kids introduced me to TikTok, and I started making funny TikTok videos, and they got popular. And then switched over to YouTube and Instagram and all the things.
So you do two types of comedy, stand-up and books. I want to ask about stand-up first. How did you come up with the ideas of what you're going to talk about?
I mind my life. You know, if you look for the funny things that happen in your life, you'll find interesting stories and sort of ways you can turn those things into jokes. So for me, I try not to come up with writing ideas as much as I try to look for the funny things that are happening throughout my day and how can I turn those into a story or a joke on a stage.
Okay, so how long have you been doing this?
3 years.
Wow. So how did you know that this was the go-to job for you?
I didn't until I made enough money doing it. You know, at first I just did it as a side thing. You know, it was like a side hustle. And then I saw how much money I could make writing books and selling books and doing YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. And that's when I realized, when I saw the money.
Mm-hmm. So how does being a stand-up comedian make the world a better place?
I think it makes the world a better place because people need to laugh. And the more you can make them laugh, the happier they are. And I figure I've made a lot of people laugh over the last 3 years, Tiberius, and I think I've probably prevented 4 murders at this point. So I think I've made the world a better place.
Wow. Does it take a lot of formal training to become a comedian?
No, you just have to be funny.
Okay. So I'm just a kid. How can I be funnier so more people will enjoy my company?
It's a great question. I think, humor is about surprise. So when you're talking and you're thinking about what people might expect the way you're going to finish a sentence, and you come up with something completely different, they think they know exactly what you're going to say next. That's the best time to switch gears and surprise them with something different. So, it took me a long time to realize that the humor came from the surprise in the sentence. So if the more you surprise people with the words coming out of your mouth, the funnier you'll be.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you joke around normal or just when you're on stage or performing?
I joke around all the time. It's the way I'm wired. I was always a funny kid, funny adult. I've just finally learned to cash in on it.
Well, can you tell me a joke?
Why is dark humor like clean water?
Why?
Because not everybody gets it.
Okay. I see. It's a good one. What is the best part about working as a comedian?
The freedom. I can do what I want. I make my own schedule. I'm in my basement here. I spend most of my time at home. And I don't, my type of comedy being a YouTube comedian, I don't really have to travel that much, which I like. I'm not a fan of business travel. So I think the best part is the freedom that it gives me.
Okay. So what was the one thing that when you started to work in this field that you did not expect?
I did not expect how mean people would be in my YouTube comments, Tiberius.
People can do that.
People are jerks.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
I know that. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Well, what is the hardest part about being a comedian?
reading those comments from those
Yep,
two.
yep. The hurtful comments.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Now, also, you do YouTube videos of reading your children's books to strangers. I want to be a YouTuber so bad. What gave you the idea to read your books online to other people?
Well, I knew that that would be the way for me to sell my books, was to show you the whole thing. And that's worked really well for me, is to share the entire book, every page, and some people actually comment on my videos and they say, why would I buy it? Because you just gave it away. And that's okay. Because when 1 million people watch a video, 1 million people don't buy a book. Maybe 1,000 people buy a book. And so, I knew that it would work. I knew that it would sell the books. And if the books were going to sell, that was the way to do it, was to show the whole thing to people. And it worked, and it worked extremely well. So I just kept doing it.
So now your children's books are called Dark Humor. So can you find one that you think it would be safe for you to read to me?
Yeah, I got one right here.
What is it?
It's called Sweatshop Kids Make Everything You Own.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Sure.
All right. There's a theme song for every book. Would you like to hear the theme song?
Sure.
Sweatshop Kids, make everything you own. Sweatshop Kids, Sweatshop Kids, Sweatshop Kids.
Sweatshop Kids Make Everything You Own, from Gran's frying pan to your new smartphone while you sleep quietly in your bed. A kid somewhere gets smacked in the head with the very same shirt that you now own. Kids also pick coffee wherever it's grown. Kids work long hours and sleep on the floor. No time to play, no time to be sore. A kid made your hoodie so soft and so cheap. Kids pick sugarcane for your favorite sweets. Kids mine the diamonds for all your bling bling. Sweatshop Kids are there to make everything. Child labor is important, now you can see, to keep things cheap in a throwaway society. Sweatshop Kids.
They make everything you own.
Everything.
Everything. So what advice would you give to my listeners if they want to grow up and be a comedian?
Just write as many jokes as you can. Make a habit of writing down your jokes and keeping track of them, because you'd be surprised, how far back you might go for a joke. I've gone back 10, 20 years to stories that I know from before where, there's something funny there. So keep a journal of your jokes. Okay.
So I see that you have been interviewed by lots of people about your career. What is the one question that people ask you way too many times?
I don't like questions about politics. A lot of people like to ask me political questions, and so it's one of those things where I don't really get into it in my comedy, and I don't like to answer them because I feel like the minute I start discussing my own opinion on politics, which means nothing, then people are going to decide whether or not they like me because I don't vote for their person. So I never answer those questions and never get into that with people.
Okay. So what is that one question that you wish that they would ask you?
I wish they would ask me. Wow, that's a tough question, Tiberius. I can't think of a question that I'm trying to think. What would I want people to ask me? I would want them to ask me if I want all my hair back, and the answer is yes.
Okay. What was the craziest thing that has happened while you were doing your job?
I once talked to a kid who on Omegle who was suicidal. He was ready to kill himself. We had a long conversation, and afterwards he told, I made him laugh. I read him a couple books, and he messaged me the next day and told me that he decided to live that night because of me. That was probably the craziest thing.
Wow. Well, what is the greatest challenge that most comedians are dealing with today?
Getting seen. A lot of comedians are they're not online. They're not doing social media. They're not doing TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. They're going to bars and they're doing open mics for 20 people. So I think the biggest challenge is getting viewed by people. I do it a little bit differently. I do it online, and it helps to get more exposure that way, and it helps to kind of build your what you're doing rather than trying to do it in a room full of people. I try to do it in my basement from my phone and upload it to the internet, and I get way more eyeballs that way. So I think it's a tough thing for people.
Okay, so who helped motivate or inspire you the most in following your dreams?
Probably my parents. They were very good at reinventing themselves. My dad was, when I was a kid, he was a car salesman, and then he started his own furniture store. And he was able to sort of build that out and sell a few franchises of his store. And so I think I learned that at any age I could change gears, and I just 3 years ago decided to become a comedian, and a lot of people would tell you, if you're 45 years old, you shouldn't change careers, you shouldn't try and reinvent yourself. My parents did that for themselves, which kind of made the blueprint for me.
Okay, so what message do you want to tell children all over the world about being a comedian or YouTuber?
Get off my lawn. Just do it. Just do it. Like, don't be afraid to be terrible. Don't be afraid to make cringy videos in the beginning. We all do. Just do the thing that you want to do. Don't wait.
So what part of your job would you say is the most enjoyable to do?
Making people laugh. When someone's laughing at my work, that is the best part of my job.
So when you were a kid, what did you want to do when you grew up? Did you always know that you were going to be in comedy?
No, well, for a while I did, but I think I thought I was going to be a rock star. I think I thought I was going to be really good with the guitar, and I was going to grow my hair long, and I was going to sing really high pitched music, like heavy metal. But then I realized that I didn't really want to learn how to play guitar.
Well, if you're going to go back 10 years and tell yourself something, what would it be?
I would tell myself the lottery numbers
Ooh,
for the last 10 years.
Smart.
You know what I'm saying? That's how you go back in time. You go back in time with the lottery numbers.
Yup.
And hold the Bitcoin. That's what I would have told myself.
Do you know what I would tell myself? Google
Yeah.
Gaga, because I was only 1 year old.
That's true. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to communicate with yourself. You'd have to tattoo the message on your own body.
Yep. What was the first job you ever had?
I was a telemarketer. I sold carpet cleaning over the phone.
Okay. Well, was there anything you learned from that job that helped you to be a better comedian?
Absolutely, yeah. I learned to talk to people. I learned to not be afraid to talk to people. When you have to make 200 phone calls every night and talk to strangers, you really get good at thinking on your feet and making people laugh and, engaging them in a conversation, which was something I wasn't good at because I was socially awkward as a kid. So I learned to talk to people, which still today is valuable.
Now, my parents said that I need a backup plan if being a YouTuber does not work out. Does being a YouTuber really make enough to be a full-time job?
For some people, absolutely, yeah. Depends what you're doing on YouTube, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are broke, and there are a lot of them out there that are killing it, and there's everyone in between. But why don't you just make your backup plan being a YouTuber as well? Like, if you want to be a YouTuber, why not make the backup plan YouTube? Maybe the backup plan is you learn everything you can about YouTube and running a YouTube channel. And the backup plan is if nobody likes my channel, I make somebody else's channel, or I run channels for 3 or 4 other big YouTubers, and your backup plan is still YouTube.
Okay. So what is the funniest joke that you know that you did not write?
Wow. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I don't. Oh wow, you hit me. You stumped me on that one. I don't know. I don't have one.
So what is the biggest mistake you ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Biggest mistake I ever made was not doing this sooner. I in 2012, which was back when you were 1 years old, and we're going back 10 years.
Yep.
Okay. I took a class for stand-up comedy because I was in my other business. I was speaking at a lot of events, and I remember finishing that class and thinking to myself, I could do this for a living. I want to be a stand-up comic. And that the biggest mistake I made was not diving in at that moment. I waited 7 years.
Okay, so when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
I watch a lot of Netflix, Tiberius, and I play some video games, and I like to go shopping. I like to buy things for myself, comic books, coins, weird collectible things.
Your own books?
I do buy my own books, of course. Yeah, of course.
Do you have more views on them?
Yeah, you got to do that. Yeah, you got to do that. You got to watch your own videos. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, do you play video games? And if you do, what's your favorite one?
I have two favorite video games, and they're both very different from each other. One is Call of Duty. I love to shoot 'em up. I love to kill people in my video games. And then Sim City is my other favorite one.
Okay, so what is your favorite book to read?
My favorite book is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. My favorite book.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
They should know that I'm awesome.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a website or Facebook for my listeners who want to follow you?
Brad Gosse, that's me. Facebook. I'm on all the things. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Everywhere. I'm everywhere.
Well, what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I don't think you forgot to ask me anything. You asked me better questions than about 90% of the podcasts I've been on in the last 6 months. So congratulations on that. I would say you didn't forget anything.
Golf clap?
Oh, here you go. Ask me this. Brad, why are you so awesome?
Well, why are you so awesome?
I was born that way.
Well, thank you, Brad, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Yeah, let's do it.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Thank you, Brad, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're going to do some more multi-step word problems. You know my dad loves showing me how math can be used in the real world. Today, we're going to talk about YouTube. Here we go. Brad has written over 96 books to read on a single YouTube video. It takes 2 minutes to read each book. If he takes a 1-minute break after every 4 books, how many minutes would the YouTube video be?
9. So I would do 90 plus 90, 180, and then 6 and 6 is 12, so it's 192 minutes.
Ooh, let's see the answer. So this is a real-world situation because Brad does read his books on YouTube, and I'm sure he would need a break after reading so many books. So first we will find out how much time Brad would be reading books. So you take the 96 books and times that by the 2 minutes it takes to read each book. That will give us 192 minutes. So far, so good. Now you have to see how many 1-minute breaks he will have. So you take the 96 books and divide it by 4. So the 4 goes into the 9 twice and then carry the 1. And 4 goes into 16 4 times. So 24 breaks, right? Wait. When he's done with the last book, he would end the video and not do another break. So you will only record 23 breaks. Smart. So now you just add the 192 minutes and the 23-minute breaks, and then you get a 215-minute video. Now that is just over 3.5 hours. That would be a long video.
That would be a long video.
Mm-hmm. Brad, do you think you could read for 3.5 hours straight?
Damn right I could. I'm a professional.
That's true. So, Brad, my teacher said that I would use math every day. Do you use math in your job?
I do, yeah. I have to calculate how much money I'm going to make on my book royalties because I only make a small percentage of each book sale. But you know what my teacher told me when I was taking math was that when I was a kid, they said, I would say, oh, I can just work that out on the calculator. And the teacher would say, well, you're not going to always have a calculator in your pocket, Brad.
I'll give you that one. That one's a funny one. That's good. Thank you so much, Brad, for your help with the math corners. And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about leadership. For me, I think leadership is the act of loving what is good, having self-control, and being disciplined. The qualities of leadership are providing guidance and direction, organization, and being a positive influence on others. So this week, I was playing badminton with my best friend, Cash. We were not getting far because we were trying to make the other person miss. Then his dad said to try to see how long of a volley we could get. We tried and got to 3 hits. Then my dad said that if we did over 25 hits in a row, that we would each get an item from the dollar store next door. We tried again and again, and after some time, we got to 26 hits in a row. This made playing so much more fun. Cash's dad showed leadership by coming up with guidance and direction that made us work together rather than trying to make each other mess up. That is also being a positive influence on others. So Brad, did you see or use leadership at all this week?
I use leadership all the time, Tiberius. I like to lead people with my actions and not with my words. One of my favorite ways to lead people is to walk out into the street and look up. And then everybody else just starts to look up. And I've just led them to look up, and they have no idea what I'm looking at. And that's so much fun for me. I guess it's leadership.
I'll count it as leadership.
Yeah.
Well, of all of the Heart of the Lion virtues, which virtue do you see the most?
Obedience. I think people are very obedient.
Okay. Well, we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should.
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Brad Gosse for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking with you today. I think we learned a lot about being a stand-up comedian and making fun videos on YouTube.
Thanks for having me. It's been fantastic. This is one of the most fun podcasts I've ever done.
Do you mind giving your website?
It's bradgosse.com. Brad Gosse on all the things. Google me. That's the easiest way to find me.
Also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and like and subscribe. Also, be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius.